Welcome back to another episode of the Iron Purpose Podcast. Today it is just myself, your host, Bailey Belter, coming at you with another episode. And it's just going to be kind of some things that I learned this week. One of them including to wear sunscreen. I am a little hot, a little tender. Went out on the boat yesterday with some friends, and for some reason we didn't put sunscreen on. Courtney and I, we lathered up Caden, our son, in sunscreen, and we went out and had a great time. And then the next day, this morning, we got out of bed and we had to shower. Like, wow, where are our parents to tell us to put sunscreen on? Like we covered Caden pretty good, but nobody was there to remind us. And just just a PSA right now, right away. Put your sunscreen on. The sun is out. The sun is strong, and it is a very beautiful thing. We were pumped to be able to get out and enjoy it. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But first of all, I want to get into this: my hats, the Stay Sharp upside down backwards edition of the Iron Purpose hat. I got another prototype in the works, and it's the one that I'm wearing right now. Has Stay Sharp on the side, a little more athletic feel to it. But that'll be later on as they're just a little bit more spendy trying to figure that out. But this is super cool. Super stoked to get this out. And a lot of you reached out to order them. I very much appreciate it. I am going to have a couple extras left over from that order. So if you didn't get in on the initial pre-order and purchase of them, I'll have a couple more, just a handful, very minimal number of those left over. But I'm sure you've seen it around, the upside down kind of backwards logo. Like I said, I think some schools are doing it. Every now and then you get some, artists or whatever that have them out. They have their own little phrase that they put up there, upside down backwards. And this one just kind of hit a little bit different. Sometimes life can feel upside down or backwards, and it's important that we stay sharp. We stay true to who we are. We stay true to our values, whatever that may look like for you. Staying true to that regardless of what life looks like, even if it is upside down or backwards. So stay sharp even if your world feels upside down, and rock the Iron Purpose swag. Represent the home team, I like to say. This weekend I took some PTO. The beginning of the summer, Courtney asked if I would take just a couple weekends off here and there, a couple days off throughout the summer, just because my schedule's a little bit up and down with working every other weekend. So I did, and I'm glad that I did because the weather turned out great, and it was an opportunity to spend some time with some friends and some family, and got to go to church on Sunday. I only get to go every other weekend, and sometimes our weekends get busy, and I don't always get to go. So I really really enjoy going when we're able to. But Pastor Paul at Timberwood Church, the interim pastor there, talked about a couple things that really just struck with me, and the biggest one was living in gratitude. He talked about there was a place of employment. I don't remember if he specifically said where it was, but the ownership or the manager, whoever was in the place of whoever was in charge, before each shift started, he took the group of people and he sat them all down and said that each had to go around the table and say something that they were thankful for. And if they didn't, they got a warning. And if that happened twice, he said they got fired. I don't know how true that is, but sticking to that is pretty impressive. And he said it just kind of set the tone for the day. So I would like to start my episodes of the Iron Purpose podcast with gratitude, asking my guests what they're thankful for. And that starts right now with myself. So if I start an episode and I don't mention something that I'm thankful for, I want you to call me out. Text me, call me literally, or post it in there, whatever. Say, hey, you forgot your gratitude portion. And then I will put on there my little public apology and something that I'm thankful for. So hopefully whoever's listening to this can keep me accountable to that. I've heard it said, I can't remember where it was said. I know I listened to it on some podcasts and a book that I'm listening to right now. I'm sure you've heard it before. I think it's either anxiety or fear. That emotion mixed with thankfulness and the feeling of gratitude, they can't happen at the same time. They can't happen simultaneously. So if you were thinking of things you're thankful for, if you're expressing gratitude in any given moment, it can't coexist with anxiety or fear or these different things that may be going on in our minds that distract us from being who we're meant to be or from the things that we're supposed to be joyful with. So gratitude. I'm starting with some gratitude for on the podcast, and I try to think of a couple things that weren't just the easy ones to right off the bat. Just say, okay, I'm super thankful, obviously, for my son, for my wife, my family, my friends. I could list each one of those, and each episode I could just pick a different person. But what would I accomplish in that? Even though it is true, and I'm sure there'll be a couple episodes where I am genuinely thankful. That is the thing I want to be thankful for that time. But this one, Number one, I put PTO. I'm thankful for paid time off because I was able to have an awesome weekend, like I'd stated earlier. Um, it just so worked out that my wife's cousin he graduated high school, and so we got to drive up to the Duluth area to kind of go up there and have a little get together with his family and for his grad party. A lot of people were there, obviously, and but got to see a lot of different family members and got to hang out in the sunshine. And we went up a little bit earlier to bring Caden up there. He had never been up to the North Shore, up into Duluth, so have him walk around in Canal Park and go through all the different little shops, and got a couple pictures of him walking through some puddles right on the canal there with the bridge in the background, the lift bridge. So that was super cool, and I'm super thankful for that. We get so wrapped up in our work, in our career, in just what that means. Oh, what do you do for a living? I mean, that's a conversation starter for a lot of people, and that was something that I was really focused on. Is my career. I'm gonna advance. I'm gonna become this and that, and work my way up. And those are all very great goals. And I don't think anybody. I think everybody should have those kind of goals when it comes to our career, but sometimes we get so focused on that we come home and that's the only thing we can think about. We can only think about work and trying to grow and work, and okay, these are the areas that I need to grow, and it's just work, work, work. Um, and so it was really nice to just take a couple days off for no reason. I wasn't sick. I didn't have any specific things planned. It was just a couple days off to just kind of reset and to enjoy some time with my family and my friends. And I highly recommend that for anybody. If you got a lot of PTO saved up, you don't have to have a reason to take it. I guess it depends on what your policy states at your place of employment, but take a day off or two and just have it for nothing, and go enjoy a couple days off, whether it's just sitting on the couch, just or staying outside. Like this, like I said, the sunshine is out. Very nice to be outside right now. Go fishing, call a friend you haven't called in a long time, or talk to somebody you haven't talked to in a while, and meet up with them, get coffee or a drink or lunch or something. Call your mom, call your dad, brother, sister, whatever. Take some time to just do something you wouldn't normally do. You don't have to have an event to take PTO. And so that was something I'm thankful for. I got two more things. Number two on my list is sunscreen. I'm very thankful for sunscreen, and I wish that I had put it on yesterday before we went out on my friend's boat, because I am hurting today. So yeah, thankful for sunscreen. Please put it on if you're going to be out and about, because you don't want to be like me and feel like a tomato slash fireball the next day, because it doesn't feel the greatest. I'm sure one of you, if not all of you, are thinking this right now. I just get one good burn in the beginning of the summer, and then I'm fine. I peel whatever, I get real nice and tan, and then it doesn't affect me the rest of the summer, and I'm good. And I am that person as well. But next time I am out on the boat or out on the lake, I will be putting on sunscreen because I am hurting today. Uh, also, as I pick this up, this is a new flavor. Kind of getting sidetracked, but it's Bubblicious strawberry. It's like a bubblegum flavor. I'm not a huge gum person. Not a big fan of it. Never really have been. It kind of grosses me out. Um, Another side story. When I went to school in Pensacola, I worked on the landscaping grounds crew, and we had to go around to the sidewalks. If you're ever out and about, like Target or wherever you're at, and the sidewalks walking up to it, there's like these black spots all over the ground. Yeah, that is chewing gum that people have spit out, and it's just cooked and been fried onto the sidewalk. Well, we had to go around with like this freeze air in a can and spray this stuff and chisel it off, and it was disgusting. It was really gross. I've done some gross things in my life, and that was up there with the best of them. But this is a interesting flavor. If you just think of it as a sweet strawberry-ish kind of drink, it smells just like Bubblicious, like the bubble gum. I'm sure it's still around, but I got it a lot as a kid, and I sent a message to my brother like this tastes like nostalgia because that's exactly what it is. But it's pretty good. I got to get my caffeine in for the day. Opened that earlier, still working on it because I don't want to just chug it and get over with. Got to enjoy it for a while. But shout out Ghost. Maybe there'll be a sponsor someday. If you're a Ghost rep and you're looking for people to sponsor, hit me up. I'm sure that's 0 of you. Third thing that I'm thankful for, speaking of sweet things, this is sugar-free, but I am type 1 diabetic, and I rock the Omnipod insulin pump, and I also have the Dexcom CGM continual blood glucose monitor. And I got to thinking yesterday, and I'll share a pic of it here, or maybe with the podcast, I'll post it. But I was with my friend Morgan and her husband and their kiddo, Ben and Bo. And then with my best friend and his wife, Corbin, and Kaylin and their kiddo, Brooks. And we were out on the boat with my wife and my son as well. And, I got to thinking, and Morgan was kind of sharing her story through diabetes. And I also have had her on the podcast before, Morgan Bathke. I don't remember the exact episode. I want to say it was like 15, episode 15, I think, or somewhere down there, where Morgan kind of shares her story as, coming up as a type 1 diabetic when she was 15, same age that I was diagnosed. And I we probably wouldn't have met them or got to know them and be good friends with them had I not been type 1 diabetic. I'm sure I would have run into them eventually, but because we go to the same gym and now we kind of have mutual friends. But yeah, I'm thankful for being type 1 diabetic because I wouldn't have been able to I wouldn't have met Morgan the way that I did. I saw her at the gym and we kind of joke about this. My wife was joking about it too the other day with Ben and Morgan. I saw her, she had a pump on her arm, and I walked up to her and I was like, hey, and I showed her mine, and that kind of opened up the conversation. How long you been diabetic? How long you been in the area, this, that, and it just kind of sparked a friendship. And then I got to meet her husband there as well. And because this is kind of funny, I told my wife, so I got a girl's number at the gym, and she's like, what? I was like, don't worry, her husband was there too. And she's like, where's this going? And I got to tell her I made a new friend, and she's diabetic, and they're really cool. We should hang out with them sometime, and we have, and we've got a great friendship, and we were able to spend just a good afternoon with them and our other friends yesterday, just spending the time off. Like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do that had I not taken PTO. So just saying goodbye to work just for a couple days for no reason, forgetting to put on sunscreen, and then just the type 1 diabetes. I'm thankful for it for that reason. I probably wouldn't have had a reason to go talk to Morgan had had I not been diabetic. I wouldn't just regularly go try to get a girl's number. She had the insulin pump and we connected, and I was like, I gotta get you on the podcast. I don't have any friends who are diabetic, so it's cool to have somebody that can relate with me in this way to kind of pick her brain about things. And so it's cool. It's been a lot of fun, but wanted to start off the episode with some gratitude. So hopefully you can kind of think about the gratitude in your life, things that you're thankful for, and maybe out of the ordinary, just things that aren't just quick, easy answers that you do at Thanksgiving around the dinner table before you eat. Obviously, we have these things that we're very thankful for, and those are important, and it's okay to be thankful for those as well. But I challenge you to just maybe dig just a layer deeper into things that may not seem something that normally somebody would be thankful for, or give that attention to it. I kind of want to talk about something that I learned this week, a couple more things that I've learned this week, to add on to the gratitude thing that I learned at church. But it is okay to not be okay. Just don't stay. That's something that I wrote down. It's okay to not be okay. Just don't stay in that version of yourself, in that moment, in that season, whatever it may be. The last episode that I had, I talked about some mental health stuff and asking for help with Esteban Cortinas. He's a 911 telecommunicator. I think that's how you'd say it, but 911 operator, dispatcher, whatever you may call it. We talked about strength in asking for help. There's times where we're really struggling, and it's okay to be there. It's okay to be in that position where we need help, and there's strength in asking for help. So if it's mental health help, it's okay to go, I am not okay, as long as I don't stay in that state of mind. Another one is, myself admitting that I want to lose some weight and try to get back into some better shape. I want to take care of myself a little bit better, especially nutritionally, and that's something that I struggle with at work or wherever, just snacking on some things and then kind of getting lazy and not going to the gym, not going for a run, not wanting to work out. And it's okay for me to look at myself in the mirror and go, I'm not really happy with where I am right now, but I don't have to stay there. I don't have to sit there every morning and look at the mirror and be disappointed in myself. I can look at it and go, this is how I look right now, and that's okay. It's okay to not be this way right now, as long as I don't stay there for myself mentally, for myself physically. And it's not a life sentence. I don't have to stay in this version of myself. So we're working on getting kind of a new membership, working out at CrossFit, doing some CrossFit stuff in town, CrossFit Grow, shout out. Sean there has been awesome. And it's just been a kind of different step in my life as far as fitness goes, trying something different. And that's okay. Again, to look at myself in the mirror and go, I'm not where I want to be, but I don't have to stay here. And these are the choices that I'm going to make moving forward as a result of me feeling this way. Today, I brought my dogs outside to go throw the ball for them, and it had just rained this morning. It kind of rained a little bit last night too. So the dirt was wet, the grass was wet, And if you have dogs, that doesn't make for a good combination if you're trying to keep things clean. My one dog, Sully, he loves to chase a ball. Like, he goes bananas for it. So I'd throw it, he'd run, and then you'd see him just kind of boom, dive into it in a big cloud of dirt, mud, and he'd come running back. He had dirt all over his face, everywhere. I'm just like, oh, I know where this is gonna go because I can't bring this dirty dog into my house. And I was like a little upset about it and a little like crabby. And I think Courtney kind of felt bad because she wanted to walk down there with us and do this walk, and she asked if I'd take him out. And it was nothing against her, nothing towards her whatsoever. My frustration, it was just the fact that I'm gonna have to give this dog a bath, and I don't want to. And that's okay. It's okay to not want to have to do something and then continue to do it anyways, even if you're, cursing under your breath while you're trying to not get sprayed. I'm still wet, to be honest with you, by the hose or by your dog shaking in this shower, and the nozzle, you're trying to soap him up and he doesn't want to be in there. And I'm just like, golly, I hate this. I hate every second about this, but it has to be done. I don't have to continue to be upset about this for the rest of my day. I can still exit that situation, come in here, crack open a Ghost energy drink, and talk on the podcast because it's something that I really enjoy doing. It's okay to not be okay, even if you're upset or you're in that state of mind while you're washing your dog, as long as you don't stay in that frame of mind. I'm a very competitive person, playing volleyball, playing kickball. We like to really do those in the area here. We really like to do those in the area here. And it's not fun to lose. I don't like losing. And a lot of times you can get frustrated. We could, call out our teammates and say, hey, don't miss this or don't do that. And then there gets tension. And after the game is over, everybody's upset. And then we all go home mad. And then it just continues on to the night. And you're like, well, why did we even do that? It wasn't even, we just completely ruined it all. Like, there's no point of even going if we're just going to come home upset and crabby about it. Um, and it was one of my coworkers, Steve Jedlinski. Shout out, Steve. I was watching a Vikings game I think it was 2 years ago, watching a game, and the Vikings lost. And I was like, here goes my attitude for the rest of the day. And he kind of like checked me on it and was like, why? Why is your attitude shot the rest of the day? Just because of something you can't control happening on the TV, now you're going to be upset the rest of the day, and we as your coworkers are going to have to put up with that. It wasn't that serious. He kind of just, challenged me on it a little bit, but I was like, you got a good point. There's nothing I could do about this, and even if there was, like, it's not going to help the situation by being super frustrated and upset. So it was really good to kind of have that reality check from him going, it's okay to be upset during the game. You can be upset and be mad that the play was awful or that your quarterback got sacked, whoever it turns out to be. Maybe he threw an interception and you're just upset about it. He's like, during the game, that's fine. You can have that. But he said, but after the game is done, let it go and move on to the next week. It's something to look forward to. And that has stuck with me. Steve, I don't know if you remember talking about that, but that has stuck with me in multiple areas of my life, including coming home from work, including, strength and asking for help, admitting that I want to lose weight, to give my dogs a bath, and then this analogy of volleyball or the Vikings losing. It's okay to not be okay as long as I don't stay there. It's okay to be upset that the Vikings are losing as long as I don't carry that into the rest of my day or even the moments after that. When it's done, it's done. When we're at Ernie's playing volleyball and we get spanked, we get destroyed, and you were upset about it, maybe our teammates didn't live up to how their expectations for themselves. Maybe I let my team down. It's not going to help anything by being upset or dwelling in it. Especially when you're at Ernie's, a place like that where you can have some drinks with friends. You're right there on the lake, and typically around that time the sun is setting, and it's just go lake, sunset, best friends, family. It's a situation that it doesn't get any better than that. So why ruin it with your poor attitude about losing? So that's kind of something that I was thinking about this week. And just kind of wrap it up here, I was listening to an audiobook the other day while I was out. I think I was mowing the lawn and doing some other stuff. I had my headphones in and was listening to an audiobook, but it's called Do the New You by Stephen Furtick. And he talks about these different situations. And in this chapter specifically, he talked about do the new you, or do what the new you would do. Do how you would respond if you were the best version of yourself. So like myself, if I'm watching these dogs and they're really upsetting me and I do not like the situation, I could ball it up. I could get frustrated. I could immediately go upstairs and take out my frustration on my wife or my kid who wants to spend time with me, who wants to see me. I could say, nope, I don't have time for you. I'm too upset about having to wash these dogs and continue on that stinking thinking, as Zig Ziglar likes to call it. Or I could do what the new version of myself, the person that I want to be in my mind, the person that I strive to be, how would he respond? He kind of talked about that in his book a little bit. And a quote that really hit me was, are you more loyal to your limitations or to your potential? And that really, really hit me. Am I more loyal to the things in my mind that are limiting, things where I'm not adding up, things where, I'm just not living up to what I think that I should be, or am I more loyal to the potential? Am I looking in the mirror and going, oh, I'm overweight, I can't touch my toes, never been able to touch my toes. And many of us unknowingly become loyal to the story we've told ourselves about who we are, especially if it's in that negative mindset. We've said, I'm just, I'm not a morning person. I love to get up and do devotions or go to the gym, but I've never been a morning person. So we just live with that. That's just who we are. That's who we become. I really love to buy a house or really love to get this new boat, but I'm just not good with money. I've never been good with money, and I'm never going to change. It's just never going to change. So anything you can say, anything you're going to say about it is just never going to change. I'm just not good with money. And so you identify with that. Maybe you say, well, I can't go to the gym. I can't train for a marathon. I can't go mountain climbing. I can't do, whatever XYZ physical activity it may be. I can't lift my grandkid up. I can't walk the stairs. I'm just too old. Well, it's like, well, I've seen a lot of older elderly people at the gym doing things that are far more crazy than what I'm able to do as far as different moves. My wife messaged her sister the other day because she was playing pickleball. Shout out Sydney, year old. She's she said Court commented on this picture of her playing pickleball, saying, "Oh, you're old now. That's an old person sport." And she was trying to defend it, saying, "No, it's up and coming," and it really is. Pickleball's awesome. But the only time I played pickleball was when I got schooled, absolutely demolished by my wife's grandparents. And they're obviously much more old than I am, and they destroyed me. So shout out to them as well. But you say you're too old, but that's just maybe a limitation that you're putting in your mind. Now, there are some things where you just physically can't do some of the things that you were able to do anymore, but that phrase too old becomes a blanket over everything, and it becomes an excuse. Well, I can't do that anymore. I'm too old. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. A lot of people say, well, I'm not a leader. I can't do this. I can't have this position at work. I'm just not a leader. I've never had siblings, or maybe I do have siblings, but I've just I've never been able to lead them. I've never been able to be the leader that I want to be. I've never been in a supervisor role. I've never been a captain of a sports team or whatever. Like, I don't know how to do this. I'm not a leader. And so you don't try to attack those things head on. You don't want to take on these things because in your mind, you've believed and you started to identify with the fact that I'm not a leader because you're listening to yourself. You're unknowingly becoming loyal to the story you've told yourself about who you are, and it's been a negative one. It's been one that is limiting. You are telling yourself that you are not enough. You are setting limitations on yourself rather than looking into the potential side of you. You're not even trying to take a chance because you don't think you're going to add up to it. Maybe it's even like speaking in front of people. You say, "Well, I'm not a good public speaker, so I'm not even going to try. Well, I already know that, and I'm okay with that." And at the end of the day, if that's what you want to do, nobody's going to stop you, but you're just setting that limit for yourself when there does come a chance for you to share something important to you. Maybe you're a man or woman of faith, and somebody's asking about it, and you're like, well, I don't know how to speak to these people about it because I'm not a good speaker. I'm just never been a good public speaker, so you can go talk to that guy, or I'm just gonna go this way, and you guys have a great day, enjoy your lunch or whatever you're doing. You're setting that limit. You're telling yourself that you can't do it, and you're missing out on a potential opportunity to, share the word of Christ or try to encourage somebody else, or maybe somebody's having a really bad day and they reach out to you crying. They're saying, "What do I do?" And you say, "Well, I'm not good at this. I'm not much of a therapist. I'm not much of somebody that helps. I don't do good with crying. If somebody starts crying, I start crying, or if somebody starts crying, I get really awkward. I don't know what to say. I don't do good with the situation." So you leave rather than trying to say, well, maybe there's potential in this situation. Maybe I am able to step up and be what this person needs me to be at this time, or my career, or my family, whatever it is. Be careful what you are repeatedly telling yourself. Eventually, you'll feel obligated to live up to it. And again, like I was just saying, any one of these limiting thoughts or emotions or feelings that comes up, if we start to believe it, we start to say it, and we start to feel obligated to live up to it. If I believe I can never start a business, then I never risk that failure. I say, well, I can't do this. I'm not good enough in that area. And if you tell yourself that you can never start a business, if you can never get to this point in your career, whatever that look like, then you never risk failure. You come up to a situation where failure could be a risk and you're like, nope, I'm going that way. You're setting that limit for yourself. Maybe you tell yourself, I'm not fit enough to go to the gym or do CrossFit. And that was something that I kind of had on myself when I started this past week. The first class, I was like, I'm going to give it a try, but I'm probably going to throw up. And that was a limiting feeling. That was a limiting thing that I was telling people, telling other people, even the guy, the owner there, the people running the class. I was like, I'm probably going to puke, just so you know. And so throughout the class, they're asking me, hey, you doing okay? You keeping it down? Everything good? And I'm like, yeah, we're good. And by the end of it, I was gassed. I was exhausted, but I didn't throw up. And, I psyched myself up. I tried to put that limit on myself and was able to work through it. And, it was something that wasn't even a reality in the first place. It's happened before, but it doesn't mean I'm going to, throw up every time I work out. But that was a limiting feeling. If I tell myself I'm not fit enough to do CrossFit, then I never face discomfort. I'm going to come across a situation that may require some physical energy. It may require a form of me where I need to be physically fit, where it's protecting somebody, or maybe it's doing a lot of work at my home, or it's mowing the lawn or something. Like, I'm going to get upset and I'm not going to want to face that because I have told myself many times that I am unfit to do this physical activity. Potential is exciting, but also very scary because it requires action. You have that potential thing in front of you. You go, I want this. It's exciting, but it's also scary because I have to do something about it to obtain it or to continue on in this path. And it's a lot easier to just focus on the limitations because that requires nothing. It's way more easy for me to go, I could go to the gym, but I'm just, I'm not feeling it today. So I'm just going to lay on the couch and do nothing instead. Or I could read this book, but that requires me to pay attention to what the book is saying, and I'd rather just scroll on my phone mindlessly, so I'm going to do that instead. Potential is exciting, but also very scary because it requires action, and limitations require nothing. And the same goes for those thought patterns that we have about ourselves. And like I said before, many of us unknowingly become loyal to the story we've told ourselves about who we are. Be careful what you repeatedly tell yourself. Eventually you'll feel obligated to live up to it, whatever that may be. I work in a jail, as some of you know. I've been involved in law enforcement and working in a jail for a couple of years now. And a lot of times we see the same people coming in for the same exact thing. They become institutionalized, is what it's called. They can't break those bad habits. They can't do X, Y, and Z to prosper, to succeed. And they fall back on the limitations because they say, well, I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm so addicted to this drug. I'm so addicted to this way of life, this feeling, this emotion, that I can't overcome it. It's just way easier to just go to jail and be comfortable with the recidivism and continuing to just go back and forth because nobody else believes in me. Why should I believe in myself? They're setting that limitation thinking, that feeling, that vibe of limiting themselves because it becomes a lot more comfortable. It becomes more easy. They become institutionalized. They become comfortable with what they know when freedom is available. Like, you have the capability of walking out. Like, you do get released at some point, depending on what you do or what you don't do. And a lot of them keep coming back because it's what they know and it's comfortable. The same thing happens outside of the jail walls. We get comfortable with old habits, old mindsets, and old excuses. And how many of us are standing in an open cell door, refusing to walk out? You think you're locked down. You think that your life is over. You may think that you're not capable of being a good speaker, a good leader, a good husband, what else we got? You're too old. You're not good with money. You're not a good morning person. And you keep telling yourself that as you're in this jail cell, but the door is wide open right here. All you got to do is walk out of it. Stop telling yourself you can't and say, maybe I can do this. I'm going to give myself a chance. I'm going to take a shot on myself and I'm going to walk towards potential rather than sit down and bask in this feeling of limit. So just wrapping up here now, talking about limits and limitations and your potential and which one you're going to buy into. Like I said, how many of us are standing in an open cell door refusing to walk out? The question isn't whether you have potential, it's which one are you feeling every day? Your limitations or your potential. So just to recap everything that I kind of went over I know I talked really fast and I apologize. Gratitude. Find something to be thankful for. Maybe it's a little bit different, a little layer down, out of the ordinary, something that you're thankful for. It's okay to not be okay. Just don't stay. Don't stay in that frame of mind. And then talking about our limitations, are you more loyal to your limitations or are you more loyal to your potential? Are you stuck in that jail cell of limitation when the door of potential is wide open for your freedom? This is the Iron Purpose Podcast. Stay sharp, everybody.